These are the 9 habits of highly successful and interesting peoples on the planet. Starting with habit number 1. Embrace your quirky side. While many of us feel insecure and try to hide areas we fear others will consider weird or different, interesting people allow themselves to flourish and blossom, peculiarities and all. Interesting people have learned to unabashedly embrace their quirky side. They allow themselves to be who they are without limitations or expectations to be normal. Interesting people abhor the idea of being average. They seek to be the opposite of dull and boring. Being interesting often means embracing the avant-garde and being willing to ignore conventional wisdom. If you know, at the gut level, that prevailing advice just isn't going to work for you, it's time to go against the grain. Our brains are all wired slightly differently, and that difference is exactly what sets us apart, makes us unique and gives each of us our own edge. If you want to be interesting, don't try to be anything other than yourself. Doing so would be denying the very part of yourself that makes you special. Habit number 2. Practice being an independent thinker. Interesting people often have a unique take on things. This may come out in how they use fashion or style to express themselves, or how they naturally shirk bandwagon mentality and arrive at conclusions for themselves. If you want to become more interesting, learn to become an independent thinker. While there may be nothing wrong with the path well traveled, interesting people seek to forge their own paths. To become a more interesting person, practice going against the flow. Don't accept being told what to think, but work to come to your own conclusions. Interesting people rely on their own intellect and reasoning to decide what makes sense for them. This is why interesting people tend to be amazing innovators. They aren't bound by conformity. Habit number 3. Be open to trying new things. Do you crave learning and trying new things? Interesting people have a wide variety of interests and are always intrigued by new activities and learning about new subjects. They're brave enough to be open to new experiences and they push themselves outside of their comfort zone. Whether it's learning a new skill, trying out a new sport, or opening your taste buds to new cuisines, you have to learn to do things a little differently every day. This means putting yourself in situations that may feel unnerving or intimidating. Eventually, you'll find that you thrive on the excitement of trying things that others would find daunting or unsettling. Interesting people have learned that the very act of seeking new experiences brightens their spirits and puts them in a good mood. This is part of what we find so magnetic about interesting people. They're always excited about life, and they're rarely down. Habit number 4. Learn how to tell the best stories. People who go out and live life to the fullest come back with fascinating and impressive life experiences. Interesting people have tons of adventures under their belt, so it's no surprise that they make the best storytellers. Interesting people have a knack for turning even innocuous questions like, "How was your weekend?" or, "Have you taken any vacations recently?" into a full-blown, captivating saga that leaves those around them spellbound and asking more questions. But the best thing about interesting people is that they can entertain and hook others with their tales, but do so without overtly bragging. Interesting people aren't trying to make themselves appear flawless and perfect. In fact, their blunders and debacles probably play a key role in many of their stories. They showcase their human flaws as a way of helping others see that they're not alone. By being relatable and empathetic, we create a feeling of connection with those we meet. In order to cultivate this sense of intrigue, comb through your life experiences for anecdotes that are funny, raw, and authentically real. Habit number 5. Pursue your interests. Interesting people are multifaceted and are constantly pursuing different activities and areas of interest. Engaging in a variety of interests is one of the most powerful ways to continue to develop as a person and infuse energy and meaning into life. Consider different ways you can pursue your interests. For instance, you might hike a coastal trail or take a course in landscape painting or photography. If you have the acting bug, consider auditioning in a community theater. Test out your chef skills, train for a marathon, or get involved with an important cause. Figure out what you love and go after it. Habit number 6. Question everything. Interesting people are great out-of-the-box thinkers because they question everything. They're known for cutting through the small talk to delve into deeper, bigger issues. They're curious about other people, and aren't afraid to query those around them to hear other sides or participate in group discussions and debates. Practice looking at an issue from a different perspective. What if you flipped your viewpoint and reframed your mindset when looking at an issue or considering how to solve a problem? Do you question ordinary, everyday thinking, or do you accept being told how to think? To broaden your mind, try focusing on why questions and seek to gain a deeper understanding instead of accepting surface-level explanations. Habit number 7. Do things wholeheartedly. Are you putting your whole heart into the things you care about? Are you giving your goals your all? Interesting people give completely of themselves. They're passionate, and they pursue their interests with gusto. When they care about something, They go after it unabashedly, with dedication and determination. You can feel their excitement and passion when you're around them. Interesting people are often charismatic, and they're great at rallying others to pursue their own dreams. They're good at getting others to embrace change. They may believe in something so much, they have a way of making others see their vision. Interesting people are internally motivated, so they do things because they have an inner drive that propels them forward. They're not as driven by a big paycheck or the promise of a promotion as much as by a deep desire to do what they set out to do. Habit number 8. They're not out to impress. Interesting people have overcome the urge to impress everyone or make everyone like them. They have an inner strength and self-confidence that comes from not worrying about what everyone thinks of them. When you're not out to impress everyone, you're free to focus on being the person you want to be. You're open to engaging on a deeper level with those around you. Interesting people have to learn to move beyond themselves, and beyond the internal fears that hold them back. Instead of arrogance, they're focused on authenticity. Instead of trying to show off how amazing they are, their constant curiosity propels them to understand the world better. Interesting people aren't trying to appear cool, they just are who they are. By being genuine, they often become the biggest trendsetters and innovators among us. Habit number 9. They spend time with other interesting people. The company you keep will influence your personality because we tend to take on the characteristics of the people we spend the most time with. So it makes sense that interesting people choose their friends wisely and tend to hang out with other interesting people. This doesn't mean they hang out with people who are exactly like them. On the contrary, they love hanging out with people from a variety of backgrounds, who challenge them and excite them. Interesting people are often drawn to those who, like themselves, are curious about the world, are constantly questioning the status quo and are passionate about their goals. They appreciate people who make them see things in a different light. Interesting people may choose friends with similar values or common interests, but they also look for those who can bring balance to areas of their life where they are weakest. Finally, if you adopt these 9 habits, you can also become a very interesting person for others and can inspire others and make a difference in the world.